Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be covering 90 Day Fiancé Season 8, Episode 9 called The No Bang Theory. And I have recapped up other episodes which will be located throughout the eye or on my channel if you want to check it out. Please do. And I also wanted to say happy Valentine's Day. You're actually not going to watch this on Valentine's Day, but I still wanted to say happy Valentine's Day. Okay, thank you for watching. Okay, so first up we have Andrew and Amira. And I think last episode I kind of jumped the gun because I told you what country he was thinking of, and I guess he hadn't revealed it until this episode. But the country that he wants Amira to go to is Serbia. Um, yeah, Serbia, exactly. I mean, my whole thing is I don't know much about Serbia, but if she couldn't get through in Mexico, what makes you think she could get through in Serbia? And then the fact that he's not going to be there, so if anything goes wrong, I mean, he wasn't much help in Mexico, but if anything goes wrong, she's going to be there by herself, you know? And then I also wrote, um, even if everything works in Serbia and she's able to stay there for the 2 weeks in quarantine and then travel to the US, who's to say that the US is then going to let her in? There is no guarantee on this whole plan of his. Um, and my whole thing is because of coronavirus, and I'm sure the US issued other visas. Is there not like a visa extension or visa exception that can come into play? Has no one looked into this? I mean, there has to be another way other than go quarantine in this foreign country and hope that you'll get entry into the US. I'm confused. Like, there has to be some other plan or some other um, detour that they can take other than this, or that Amira can take because she's the one doing it other than this. So, yeah, we didn't see too much of them in the episode, but yeah. Okay, so next up we have Rebecca and Zied, and I know everyone was frustrated at this episode. Basically, it's Zied's like maybe third or fourth day here, and Melanie comes to visit. And Melanie is a friend of Rebecca's, and she's the one that had helped Rebecca investigate or do a background check on Zied. Um, their conversation really upset me. Um, just because Melanie came in, and we all know that English is not Zied's first language. And she would ask Zied a question, and while he's trying to process the question, figure out an answer, here she comes asking him again. And she did this twice, and eventually he's just like, yeah, I understand. And I'm just like, lady, slow your roll. It's like you just met the guy, and to me, I found that very insulting. I can see that it kind of upset Zied as well, because he's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, just like give me a minute. And then she also asked about the whole work situation. It's like Rebecca's kids asked him, and now Melanie is asking him, what are you going to do for work? What are you going to do for work? Ma'am, he hasn't even been here a week, and there's a whole process that has to happen before he can even work. Can you give him a second? And I believe she knew the process already. There's no way that she didn't, because it seems like she has been around Rebecca for a while. So you already knew that he couldn't, in my mind, I'm thinking, you probably already knew that he couldn't work for 6 months, and Rebecca was the one who was kind of like, he cannot do anything for 6 months. We have to apply for him to work. And frustrating. And then she was the one who revealed that Rebecca actually lived in the same building with her ex. And it wasn't like a nonchalant thing. It really seemed like she was trying to like dig the knife in and twist it type of situation, because she's like, you know, she's talking about how Zied and her ex are very similar, and then she brings up, oh, didn't you live down the hall with your ex? And if I was Rebecca, I would have thrown her out right then and there. But Zied handled it well. He wasn't really upset about the situation. He kind of walked away. He kind of said his piece and then walked away, but he was basically like, can you please stop comparing me to the guy? I don't know the guy. We're from completely different countries. He's like, I am now here. Please give me a chance. Stop the comparison. And that's what I've been saying from the beginning. It's like everyone's constantly like, you're like his ex, you're like her ex, you're like her ex. He's like, can you give me a chance and not criticize every little thing that I do? And if it doesn't go according to your plans, can you not, compare it to her ex? He's like, I am here now. Please give me a chance. And I completely agree. Rebecca is like head over heels in love with this guy. We know that she had a bad experience before, but just give Zied a chance. I don't think he's ever shown that he has ill intentions. At least that's what I've seen. So give the man a chance, please, finally. Give him a chance. Okay, so next up we have Mike and Natalie. And I wrote in my notes, why did his mom have to say that? I'm not really sure what exactly his mom said. If you remember, please leave it down in the comments because it's not coming to me right now. But I think the thing was the mom kind of like switched gears. So last episode, she was kind of saying, let my son decide. I feel like it's going to, he's the one that's going to have to make the decision. And I can't really recall. There's so many 90-Day Fiancés. But I think the mom might have like switched up and said, I think she said, I don't think this is going to work out. And then that's completely different than not completely different because she said it's Mike's decision, but I think she's definitely saying that like this is not going to work out, and I think she verbally addressed that to him. And then I later wrote down Mike is now saying like in confessionals that he doesn't really know Natalie. And I think that they've been together a little bit longer than some couples. Like I'm thinking of Brandon and Julia. They haven't been together that long. But if you don't know her, why did you propose to her in the first place? And then why did you tell her to come over in the first place? You went and spent time with her in her country. It's like, I don't know. If you don't really know the person, why are you proposing? And I think I don't know if that was like his mom's, because his mom said something, like it got his mind racing and he's like, wait a second, like, do I really know her intentions? Why did she come over here? I don't know. And then once again, I think this is the one where they went to the shop to get like linen spray because his closet stinks apparently. She can't pinpoint the smell, but his closet definitely stinks. And once again, people are sharing their whole life story with a stranger. And Natalie kind of was like, I understand it because no one has seen me and they're kind of curious type of situation. But they're literally telling all their business to a stranger. I mean, I guess some people are open like that. Maybe it's also production, like, hey, ask them this question so that, we'll get some awkward encounters type of situation. But we always see this happen where they spill everything. Like, I'm from this country, I'm here on a K1 visa, yada, yada, yada. And then, once again, Mike is like, we need to work on this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, Mike, then work on it. He's the type of person that talks the talk but doesn't walk the walk situation. Like he says things and then it's like he doesn't follow through with them. It's like, Mike, she's been here for over 30 days and you're still saying, I don't know. And you're still saying, I don't know if this could work out. Then work on it. Talk to her. Talk to somebody. I mean, how are you not going to know if it's not going to work if you don't try to fix it? It's like he leaves things to the universe to fix or something. He doesn't actually want to put in the work. I don't understand that at all. If there's something wrong, try to fix it, talk about it, do something. Action, action, action. Okay, so next we have Jovi and Yara. And like I said in the previous episode, Yara did confirm that she was pregnant. She took a test. And then Jovi came home and he was like drinking early in the morning, and that kind of upset her. But, excuse me, I'm not sure what the timeline is between, I think it was like the next day they went out and she's like, I really need to tell this to somebody. I'm not good at holding in secrets. And so they decide to explore New Orleans, and she decides to tell him while she's getting a henna tattoo. And um, it did not go well. It did not go like she expected, I would say. He kept denying that she was pregnant, and then we cut to a confessional, and he mentioned that Yara had actually, I think, used the pregnancy test from before when she had the miscarriage and sent him a picture and tried to make it seem like she was pregnant again. And according to Jovi, she didn't tell him the truth until like the next day. And then Yara said, no, I told you the truth like 10 minutes later. So once again, we have like two different stories happening. But either way, he did not react well, and he was very skeptical that she was pregnant in the first place. He's like, no, you're joking. And she's trying to tell him, like, no, I'm serious. And they're having this, I want disagreement in front of the henna artist. And you can see her eyes kind of being like, get me out of here type of situation. I really wish that she had picked a different place, like maybe home or something. But of course, you know, everything's made for TV. Oh, and then he also mentioned, he was like, I put down he knows her though, because he said, you would have told me already, meaning as soon as she found out, she would have told him. And, you know, Yara kind of said that she can't keep a secret. So that's very true, that he knew that, hey, if this was true, you would have told me immediately, not, you know, however long you waited. And then later on in the episode, Yara, he asked Yara to take a pregnancy test. Like as soon as they got home, he's like, take your shoes off. We need to take this pregnancy test right away. And yeah, as it turned, well, she took a pregnancy test first, and I kind of saw the second line. I think most of them you have to have like two lines, and I kind of saw a hint of a second line. I don't know if it was just me or if it was just like the angle of what I saw, but I feel like on that first pregnancy test that she took, I feel like I saw a second line kind of revealing that she was pregnant. Is it just me? Comment below if you saw that second line as well. And then so he eventually asked her to take a second pregnancy test. And I don't know if this is editing, but, and let me try to gather my thoughts to say this. When they went back into the bathroom, I thought she had another one of the pink ones to take a test on. I don't know if it was the same one, but I thought that's the one she had. And then when they came out of the bathroom, he had like a clear blue digital, one of those ones that's just says pregnant. I thought I was tripping, but I was like, I didn't see the clear blue at all. But then again, maybe she had them like in the drawer and took them out later. But I was just like, that's interesting. I don't know. I thought it was like editing, like maybe they did it later for product placement. I don't know if TLC does that, but I just thought that was interesting. So yes, he's like, and I guess it was comforting because he was kind of like, okay, you know, I'm not ready for it, but I'm gonna have to be ready for it. And he kind of wanted to go to the doctor, and then he's like, let's wait a little while to kind of see what I'm gonna have to do with my job, because obviously you really, I mean, people do it all the time, but I think especially for Yara, she would not feel comfortable with having a child, and then every month or every other month he's going off for weeks at a time, leaving her essentially by herself, because once again she doesn't have any family there. His mom is an hour away, um, and she doesn't really know anyone in New Orleans, so they're gonna have to discuss the whole job situation later on. Okay, so where we see this episode begin in terms of Brandon and Julia is Brandon is still sitting with his parents at the restaurant, kind of discussing this whole this isn't working situation. And Betty starts to attempt to cry, I would say, is what she's doing. There were literally no tears, and she just goes into the, I don't know if she was making a noise, but that's what I imagine was happening, where it's just like, that's pretty much what was going on. Maybe that's how she cries. I don't think so, but she literally had no tears coming out of her eyes. And Brandon was just sitting there staring at her like, we've been here before. I know your tricks. This is not working. And I think Brandon might have needed Julia to push him. I think that boundaries needed to be set with his parents. And I think Julia bringing it up and being like, I'm not happy, this is not working, I think that finally pushed him to say, like, hey, this isn't healthy. Like he mentioned, he kind of mentioned Julia is going to be my wife and we're going to take care of each other. And then he still has his mom is like trying to baby him and stuff like that. And he's like, it can't work. We need boundaries. Like, you can't, I'm going to be with Julia now. We have to respect our relationship. And his mom's like, I know, it's just that you're my only son type of, I want to keep you as a baby forever, pretty much. And he's like, that we got to stop that right now. It's not working. And he kind of tries to extend an olive branch to say, well, maybe we can stay in the same room and that will kind of pacify the situation. And his mom was like thinking about it, and then Father Ron just, no, he was like, absolutely not. I am not giving in. This is not going to happen. Like, he really went from 0 to 100 real quick, and he was just like, this is not happening. Absolutely not. This is my house. And Betty was trying to settle him, like, hey, it's okay, we can discuss it. And I think he told her to like shush or something like that, like be quiet type of situation, and she just kind of immediately went back. But he just got really angry that Brandon even like suggested it, and his mom was kind of thinking, well, let's just see if we can come to some sort of resolution or something, and his father just, no. And one thing that I wished that Brandon would not have said was, he was like, it's Julia's decision. I really wished he wouldn't have put it all on her. I really wished he would have said, like, Julia and I have been talking and we kind of feel like we need our own space because we're not able to spend time together. I really wished he had stayed neutral instead of putting it all on her, saying she's unhappy, she's the one that's going to leave type of situation. I really wish that he hadn't put it all on her, because that also got Father Ron upset, where he's like, it's your decision, you're the man of the house, you should be making these decisions. But what's gonna happen. But yeah, at the end of the episode, he took Julia out to a pool bar, I guess, excuse me, and she was very excited. I guess it was kind of the first time we've seen them go out, maybe the second time, but go out on their own and kind of just have a date night. And he presented the olive branch to her, and she was skeptical. She really thought that like Betty would turn around and hate her, and like end up blaming her for something. But when they got home, we saw them going into the house and they went into Brandon's room. So I guess next episode we're gonna kind of see what else transpires with this new living arrangement. Okay, so lastly we have Ryan and Stephanie. So where we see them is they had gone on their date and it went well. And we see them the next day and Stephanie's like, what's going on? I mean, you're used to, 4 times a night and nothing happened. And she's like, I would have at least wanted a quickie. And I know I was not the only one that was a little uncomfortable with the talk. But to each their own. But then my other thought was, Stephanie, you're really sitting here questioning the man, asking him about what he's been doing around town while you were gone, knowing that you had relations with his cousin. Like, you're really over here being like, what were you doing? Who are you talking to? What were you and, some girl doing around town? And meanwhile, you still have this pretty big secret looming. What is it? Hits dog holler or something like that? Yeah, that's exactly what she was doing. And while they were having this conversation, I just had an inkling that he knew that she had relations with his cousin, because he was too calm. It was like he knew something that everyone else didn't know, type of situation. He was really calm, cool, and collected, especially when she was like, you want to know what happened? And she starts off with, your cousin Harris has always been nice, and we always chatted, and he called me beautiful, and yada, yada, yada. And he was just sitting there like, what are you about to tell me? Say it. And then when she dropped the bomb about how she had relations with his cousin, and he's like, I know. Like, I had a feeling he knew, but I definitely hollered, like, he knew, like, the whole time. Oh, okay. And then he basically said that he was no longer talking to his cousin. He's like, my cousin is out of my life. You don't talk to him no more. I don't talk to him no more. And he's like, I forgive you, but that's unacceptable. And I'm like, he was a little upset, but not too upset. So I'm like, wow, he's kind of taking this pretty well. I mean, but I guess maybe he had like 10 months to process it, type of situation. Like, he had already dealt with his cousin about the situation, so now it's just he had to deal with Stephanie. So he seemed pretty calm about it. To me, anyway. He wasn't that upset. I mean, he was hurt more than anything, I would say. He wasn't really upset. I think he probably dealt with the upset part previously, like I said, but he was definitely hurt about the situation. And I don't know if you watch 90 Day Fiancé like on Instagram, but there are a couple of channels that kind of reveal the Discovery Plus portions, and someone did reveal the whole interview that Sean, I believe her name is, who is the 90 Day host, she had an interview with Harris, and Harris kind of revealed that, I don't know, when Stephanie told the story, she kind of made it seem like Harris was the one who kind of initiated the situation, but from Harris's standpoint, he's kind of like, no, Stephanie initiated it. If I figure out the Instagram, I'll leave it in this area, that way you can go watch it if you have an Instagram. But it's very interesting, to say the least. It's like the second, two sides to every story, so it's Harris's side of what really happened. But yeah, I'm glad it's all out. I mean, I guess next episode we kind of see exactly what, because it can't just be a one and done. At least for me, it can't just be a one and done. Like, you can't tell me it's not going to come up again. But you know, maybe it won't. Maybe he really is like upset and hurt and he's like, let's get past this type of situation. That's it. Okay, so that is the end of my recap for episode 9, The No Bang Theory. As I said in the intro, I do have other episodes on my channel, so be sure to check those out. And thank you so much for watching. Episode 10 is coming soon. Yes, it's coming soon. Um, like my video, comment below on episode 9, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.